This is Gigabyte's GTX 1070 G1 Gaming. It's a pretty nice card, obviously has some cool sort of triple fan design features as well as the RGB spectrum lighting on the side, and either way we're going to take a look at it in the video, so do stick around. I hope you find it useful and yeah, enjoy. So as always on the back of the box there's all the new features like the WindForce 3X cooling system and the RGB LEDs that are on the side, but being the 3X cooling system, it does have three fans. These are the sort of stop-start ones that mean when the card isn't being used all that heavily they're off, so very silent, but then obviously turn on when needed, and they're actually pretty quiet under sort of gaming load anyway, and the maximum temperature I saw was 65 degrees, so it did a really good job there in terms of actually cooling. It means that you do have a little bit of overclocking headroom, at least on the thermal side of things anyway, so that's pretty nice. The back of the card has a rather plain Gigabyte backplate, still looks quite nice with sort of matte black metal finish, and otherwise the side of the card has those RGB LEDs I'll show you in a second, as well as the fan stop logo that lights up as well, and you also have a single 8-pin power connector. Now this is technically a con because the 1070, if it has a extra 6-pin, has a decent bit more overclocking headroom, but it's still perfectly fine, does leave a little bit of room left if you're still interested in pushing these clocks slightly further. You also have 3X DisplayPort 1.4s, an HDMI 2.0 and a DVI-D port, 1920 CUDA cores, 1822 MHz boost clock, 1620 core clock, and 8GB of GDDR5 non-X, so this kind of standard flavor. That's running on a 256-bit memory bus, so not the widest in NVIDIA's history, but still seems to be quite functional. And obviously with the RGB LEDs on the side, you can customize them in the Extreme Gaming software, along with some fairly easy overclocks. And if you want to know more about that, check out the GTX 1080 G1 review, where I went into a bit more detail on that. In terms of performance, it's a very, very capable card. It actually seemed to perform very, very similarly to the MSI Gaming X card, because the clocks are fairly similar, but obviously this one is priced a little bit lower, so you do actually get a little bit better value for money here in comparison to the Gaming X card, but nonetheless it's still a very, as said, functional card. You can just about hit 4K, especially if you're on sort of medium to high as opposed to, you know, very high or ultra settings, with you know, stuff like GTA on very high settings still reaching just about 60 FPS average, which are obviously quite nice. But this is a fantastic card if you're looking for 1440p, especially if you're going for something like a PG278Q or something that's, you know, 144 Hz 40p type thing, and yeah, it's a really nice card. The temperatures were quite good and it was quite quiet, so yeah, awesome. So I really do like the card, especially in terms of performance. As you just saw, it's actually very comparable to the MSI Gaming X, as the clock speeds are actually fairly similar as well. The temperatures are actually pretty similar too. I think it maxed out to about 65 degrees, which is nice, and because it has the fan stop software as well, the fans were obviously silent when it wasn't being used, and then when it was being used it still wasn't all that loud. I personally prefer the styling of the MSI Gaming X, so you know, obviously it's just dependent on what you fancy. And you can still use the Extreme Gaming software to change the color of the LEDs and overclock it very easily, so that's always nice and sort of adds to the functionality of the card. The main sort of difference, especially in terms of the cooler design, is that this the G1 has a plastic shroud that feels a little bit cheap, especially when you pick it up, and the sides of the plastic kind of bow in with the weight of the card in your hand, so that's why it's kind of listed as a con under the plastic shroud. But otherwise it's a really great performer. It's from what I've seen, because I'm terrible, it does overclock quite easily, and the Extreme Gaming software is actually pretty easy to use with it as well, so that's awesome. It's fairly quiet, it's fairly effective at cooling itself. It does have the 8-pin power connector. It doesn't have the extra 6-pin, so there isn't as much overclocking headroom in comparison to the Gaming X as well, so that is something to bear in mind. But if you're planning on just running this stock like the vast majority of people who buy graphics cards, then this is still a really great option, performs well, and yeah, it's just a nice card. In terms of scoring, we're going to go for 4 for value for money, 5 for performance, 5 functionality, and I think 4 for styling personally, and a 5 for TechteamGB score. I'm going to go with the Gold Award because it is a really nice card, it performs very well, and especially for those who aren't planning on overclocking, It's a really nice shout, and obviously it's fairly quiet too. So yeah, I guess that's that. If you enjoyed the video and you want to pick one of these up, feel free to click the link in the description down below. That'll take you to Amazon with my affiliate link. And if you could buy your stuff there, that'd be awesome. Also, if you're buying anything else, it'd be awesome to use those links too. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video and you're not planning on picking anything up on Amazon, feel free to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't, feel free to dislike, but let me know why in the comments down below so that I can improve for next time. And yeah, I guess that's that. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it useful and informative. And we'll see you on the next video.